Welcome everyone, and today I'm very honored to have Penny Waite, who's an EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique practitioner, on the show. This is something that I've tried myself. I love it. I think it's an amazing technique to help us with many issues in life and to clear many things. But I'm just going to ask Penny to explain a little bit more about her work. And welcome, Penny.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here. Okay, so about my work, yeah?
Yeah, I think first question is actually what brought you into this line of work? You know, maybe when did you come into it and why? That would be a good start, maybe.
Okay, well, I started about 20 years ago when I trained as a coach. So, yeah, I was doing something completely different. I was an artist. I was a special paint finisher with a team of women in London, and we had great fun. But I was recently divorced with 3 small children, and they wanted me working nights, so I couldn't do that. So I trained as a coach, and then about 4 years after that, I met a woman. I went just for a coffee with a friend who was having a few other friends round. Went for coffee, and there was a woman there who was talking about EFT, and I remember thinking, yeah, right. I was so skeptical, really, but I couldn't actually get it out of my head. So I went off and I had a look at it, and I actually started training in thought field therapy, which is the father of EFT, but that's so complicated that I shifted from that and trained in EFT. And yeah, so I've been doing that about 17 years, something like that. And of course, it's much, much more accepted now. And there's a lot of research that goes on. It's being tested out for NICE, the National Institute for Clinical Excellence. It's already in there for PTSD, but there's lots of other things that they're examining. I also do hypnotherapy and EMDR, but EFT is so much faster than either of those two, although EFT uses aspects of both of them. Mm-hmm. So, yeah,
I like this idea of nowadays people do want things that are relatively simple and quick, and that's what I've experienced from EFT myself. And tell us a little bit, for those who don't know anything about it, how does it actually work?
Okay, it works on the meridian lines, the same points that are used for acupuncture, but in EFT we're tapping points on the upper body. So we'd start here. We start the side of a hand because that puts your batteries in the right way around for your body to accept EFT. And then we go around the points. So all these points on your upper body. And people do these, and like some people start on the crown. It doesn't matter. Some people, where there's one point here, some people like to use 2. Find that really relaxing. And then collarbone. You've got under your arm, and I had a client started the other day, and she was trying to do this.
Both.
So she was trying to do both under her arm at the same time. It's quite funny.
And how many points altogether? I think, is it 6?
It's 8.
8.
Hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7.
Yeah, 8 with this one. Yeah, 8.
So 8. It's not many points, and so tapping. And tell us a little bit. So it's the meridians, and actually, what does it do? By tapping those points, really, or give us an example, maybe, of somebody you've helped to either release something through the tapping, maybe.
Okay. So when we're tapping, if you go and see a therapist about something you're angry about, or maybe you've had a bereavement and you need some help through it, or divorce, let's say divorce. Okay, and you go and talk to a therapist, psychotherapist, and the therapist believes that it's an event or a thought that has created the emotion that you do not want to feel. So anger, sadness, whatever it might be. And you will talk about this for months or years, yeah? With EFT, we believe that the event or a thought creates a disruption in the energy system, And it's the disruption in the energy system that creates the emotion that you don't want to feel. So that's when we're tapping. It's a talking therapy as well. So you're talking. Mm-hmm. But this takes minutes or hours then to release the anger or the sadness or whatever it might be. So that's basics of how it works with the tapping, or what a result is, what's happening. Examples of people, oh my goodness. Well, I've got a client at the minute who, well, rather than clients at the minute, so it works, it's really, really good for physical stuff, because we put what's going on in our thoughts, we put into our bodies, and we lodge it there unconsciously. We don't mean to do it. And often when something is healing, something has happened and it's healing, that's when you'll feel the pain or something like that. So I had a client come to see me, and she had a big goiter on her neck, great big lump. And as we were tapping to start, because, you know, the stuff that she was holding in there, we were tapping through it, and she could taste the stuff coming out of it because it's related to the salivary glands. She had a conversation with her mother 2 days later, and the whole lot came out. And when I saw her 2 weeks after our first session, this was completely gone. And she'd been seeing a consultant for 2 years who had her on antibiotics. Yeah. But it just completely went. So, and it's never come back. So I've got so many stories about physical stuff changing, and like emotional stuff changes with it. So when you work on the emotion, you're physically going to feel better. Mm-hmm. The tapping will automatically relax your body, your muscles, your ligaments, everything gets much looser. And I've answered your question.
Yeah, well, no, you answered it well. So it's kind of like releasing, and it's relatively quick. That was my other question, was going to be how many sessions do people need? But from what I understand, it could be even 2 or 3 sessions, not years. You know, sometimes people think, oh, this will take years. But what I like about it, from what I've seen, is it's very rapid results, you know.
Yeah, that's often people's first question. How long will it take? But, you know, I have no idea, because it is unpeeling an onion. And I'm very good at, you know, just going straight into the middle of the onion. But I always do 2 sessions at a time. So we do one. And the second one is to make sure that we've got everything, because when anything happens, you know, whatever it might be, there are many, many different aspects. If you've got to go to hospital and have an operation, terrified, how am I going to get there? Who's going to come with me? Will I be able to eat? Will I be able to drive? What buses are, you know, there's all this sort of stuff. What will the doctor be like? What should I wear? Will I need this? Or will I, you know, there's all many, many different aspects in everything. So I need to check. The second one is to finish off anything that might be left, and maybe tap something else through. Yeah. It's time to do
kind of an ongoing, you're just, like you say, peeling these layers, and then something else may come up. Okay, so that's good to know. And my final question is, we're going through difficult times, as we know, nobody would doubt that. You know, are there any tips you can advise people on that might help them, you know, from your own practice or experience?
Okay, well, I suggest, so a good tip is, if you've got a problem, ask for help. So that's the first one. Go get some help. And especially with EFT, you know, if you can afford it, if you're working with a practitioner, you're going to get a far better result than you are if you're working for yourself. The simple reason that we can't be objective about ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay. And another one is that tapping, think about EFT, if you're using tapping to help you through this, and it can really help, does really help, make sure you hit the points, because there's a lot of people, people just get thinking about something else and they're not tapping the point. You need to actually be tapping the actual point to get it.
Have a practitioner do it with you, as you say.
Or YouTube, or there's all sorts of things on there. Breathe. So holding our breath puts pressure on our hearts, which releases adrenaline. So a little bit, not huge amounts, but it keeps us in that stress state. Whereas when you breathe out, you release a different hormone, which is a relaxing hormone. But again, small amounts. But if you breathe in and out with that sole purpose of noticing, you'll see it, you'll sense it. Another one is to change the way that you think. So you can use EFT to help you do this. Thinking, so the way we think creates our reality. And this is not some woo-woo rubbish. This is actually the way that our brains work. So if you believe that people love you, what you're going to see is people who love you. You're going to notice how you are loved. And that's healing in itself. But if you think people don't like you and they don't care about you, that's what you're going to see. That's going to be the first thing that you notice. And your unconscious is doing this for you, very cleverly for you. Okay? You can use EFT to release a belief quickly and permanently, and then start noticing how many people do love you. It's not, the world hasn't changed, people haven't changed. You've just changed the way that you're thinking, and it opens doors, huge doors.
Wow.
Personal peace procedure is another thing you can do, again, using EFT. So on my website, there is downloads, and they're all free. And one is personal peace procedure. So it involves, getting a list of your traumas, tapping through one every day. And at the end of 3 months, you are going to feel quite differently. Okay. And then the last one, I think, is daily affirmations. Now, the best way to do this, and by the way, tapping daily affirmations is the way to make them work. Because otherwise it's pretty slow to realize what you're tapping in. So I choose, start all your affirmations with I choose. So I choose to smile at strangers. I choose to clean the house once a week, whatever it might be. Just I choose. Think about how you want to feel. And then I choose, no negatives. And no negatives means I choose to not be anxious. That's a negative. And opposite of that would be I choose peace. Okay, you can put I choose to breathe and relax. It reminds you to do these things. And then, especially if you're new to EFT, I would like you to, every morning, you look in the mirror and you tap these things in and you speak out loud like you mean it. In a very strange way, our bodies seem to hear what we say. And it seems to make quite a big difference when it's said with meaning, rather than just sort of skittling through it as fast as you possibly can.
Body resonates with, our words are powerful, and the intention behind it just as powerful, as you say.
Exactly, yes.
So look, thank you so much. What we'll do, we'll put all the resources on the links below. And you mentioned that free download. What did you call it? The
Personal peace procedure.
Beautiful. Sounds amazing. I think I'll download that today. Personal peace procedure. Great. So we'll put the links below. And thank you so much for joining me. And anything you'd like to add to finish off? I'm just hoping people will really get in touch, and they can send you, messages through your website. I imagine they can email you as well.
Yeah, they can email. There's a contact form on my website.
Yeah.
And there's also on my YouTube channel, there's comments underneath. So
they can comment and get in touch.
Okay. And yeah, if anybody wants a particular EFT little YouTube video on something, just ask me and I'll do it.
Great. Wow. Okay.
Lovely to have ideas as well.
Yeah. Thank you, Penny.
Thank you, Alessandro.
Hang on. Take care of yourself, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
1 second.